They say the man makes the shoes. And in Michael Jordan's case, that couldn't be more true. I mean, 40 years later, and Jordan Retros still sell by the millions. But it's bigger than numbers. It's culture, movies, music, sports. Jordan sneakers aren't just a part of the story. They're woven into the very fabric of it. Sneakers that have somehow transcended sneakers and become something else entirely. To really feel it, though, we've got to take it back to where it all began. David Stern, full mustache at the podium, and with the third pick, I made the earth sick. The kid from North Carolina had officially arrived. Now, technically, NBA seasons span 2 years from October to June. So for fluidity's sake, we'll call Jordan's rookie year 1985. And Michael was rookie of the year. Duh. A different Michael went back to the future. Rocky somehow KO'd Ivan Drago. No clue how those two were in the same weight class. Queen delivered the best live rock performance of all time. Nintendo dropped in the US, and so did the Air Jordan 1. That's right, the man meets the sneaker. Peter Moore designed them, and Mike took care of the rest. The NBA allegedly banned the shoe because they didn't comply with color regulations. Well, shocker, that only added to the aura and mystique. It was a basketball sneaker, and yet somehow also came to be loved by skaters and rock and rollers, and everyone, it seemed. In the movie Air, they said a shoe is just a shoe until somebody steps into it. Well, Michael Jordan stepped all the way into it. A legend was born on and off the court, and the rest is quite literally history.
Hey, I agree with you.
Now, the next couple of years get mashed together because Jordan got hurt 3 games into his sophomore season with the Bulls. He broke his left foot, and he did come back down the stretch, but only played 18 games. So let's combine 86 and 87. In 86, Tom Cruise took off as Top Gun. Ferris Bueller also took off and played hooky. Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Run DMC teamed up with Aerosmith, and Peter Moore and Bruce Kilgore formed a team of their own to design the sequel, the Air Jordan 2. But time had passed at this point, and we're already at the beginning of Jordan's 3rd NBA season. So it's year 3, and for our timeline, 1987. Swayze swooned us in Dirty Dancing, The Princess Bride redefined chivalry, LL Cool J needed love, Eric B. and Rakim were paid in full, and MJ was back in full, finally lacing up the highly anticipated Air Jordan 2. It was a more luxurious build, crafted in Italy from premium leather and a faux lizard texture. They removed the Nike swoosh, which was a major change. It was a much different look than its predecessor, way ahead of its time, really, and despite MJ apparently preferring the ones, he continued to ascend as a star in the NBA nonetheless. The sales numbers off the court might have dipped some, but Mike's stats under the bright lights were only going one direction: up. The next year would be pivotal, though. 1988, the Prince of Zamunda came to America, more specifically Queens, New York. NWA dropped Straight Outta Compton. Tracy Chapman sang about that fast car.
Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk.
Nike launched their Just Do It campaign, and Tinker Hatfield did exactly that with the Air Jordan 3. Easily one of the best Jordans ever created, the 3 was undeniable. Our first look at the Jumpman, the mid-cut, the elephant print, the visible air unit that Tinker had taken from his Air Max 1 design, all of it. And then there were also the moments in the sneaker. MJ from the foul line in the '88 dunk contest, his first MVP season, he dropped 40 in the All-Star game.
Is there anything he can't do?
Spike Lee was Mars Blackman. Everything about this sneaker was perfect. White cement, black cement, true blue, fire red, just incredible. When they needed him most, Tinker did his big one. Now we're in 1989. The Little Mermaid released in theaters. Saved by the Bell hit TV screens. Bo Jackson was in his prime.
92 yards.
Spike Lee dropped Do the Right Thing, which featured the iconic scene where bugging out sneakers get stepped on.
Yo!
What sneakers was he wearing? The new Air Jordan 4. Another Tinker Hatfield masterpiece. The netting on the sides, the wing panels, a perfect next step in the evolution of the Jordan line. But as dope as the 4s looked, it was this balance of cultural relevance and on-court greatness that continued to catapult the sneaker and the brand to new heights. Do the Right Thing, the infamous game winner over Craig Elo with that sick celebration. A couple nights before that, Jordan was cracking jokes on national television with David Letterman. They were cooking with grease at this point. Talk about ending the decade on a high note. Michael Jordan was officially a superstar. And just like that, it's 1990. A new era. Kevin McAllister wreaked havoc in Home Alone. Keep the change, you filthy animal. We got one of the greatest mafia flicks of all time in Goodfellas. UNLV won the NCAA tournament led by Grandma Ma. The world was introduced to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, an instant classic. And Tinker had an instant classic up his sleeve as well, the Air Jordan 5. Designed after World War II fighter jets, the P-51 Mustang to be exact, the teeth on the midsole, the extra tall tongue, the reflective 3M. It was probably Tinker's boldest Jordan design to date, and it paid off. Will Smith was rocking them all over the suburbs. Jordan dropped 69 on the Cavaliers. He was also front and center on the Wheaties box. There just had not been a basketball player or signature sneaker like this before. The legend continued to grow, the cultural imprint did as well. Now, could they keep making magic? Well, in 1991, Arnold gave us the best sign-off ever as Terminator 2. Ice Cube showed us his acting chops in Boys in the Hood. The Giants got the trophy, but it was really Whitney Houston who won the Super Bowl. Jerry Springer hit the boob tube, and Michael Jordan won his first NBA championship. In what sneaker? That's right, the new Air Jordan 6. Yet another banger from Tinker. We were introduced to the iconic infrared colorway. The 6s were designed after the Porsche 964, which is a version or generation of the 911. The sleek build, the rubberized tongue, the exaggerated spoiler on the heel. The Jordan 6 certainly had the look and precision of German supercar engineering. And of course, Mike stamped them forever with that first NBA championship. And that brings us to 1992. Aladdin took Jasmine on a magic carpet ride. Billy Hoyle teamed up with Sidney Dean in White Men Can't Jump. Dr. Dre dropped The Chronic. Red Hot Chili Peppers took us under the bridge. MTV aired The Real World. Reality television was born. The Dream Team looked like superheroes in Barcelona. And Michael Jordan was definitely Batman, which would make Tinker Alfred with a new offering, the Air Jordan 7. There was certainly some influence from the Nike Air Huarache, a Tinker project from the year prior. There were also some West African-inspired patterns. No more visible air unit. No more Nike branding. A beautiful sneaker. The peaks on the midsole, the tongue design, the neoprene liner, awesome colorways from the hair and the Bugs Bunny friendship that would serve as foreshadowing, to the cult classic Bordeaux, to the Olympic pair he won gold in, no big deal, and oh yeah, another NBA championship. Now, could Tinker and Mike keep winning? We'd get that answer in 1993. Benny pickled the beast in Sandlot. Jurassic Park roared its way to the highest grossing film of all time. Power Rangers hit the scene heavy. Wu-Tang blessed us with 36 Chambers. Jordan won his third championship in a row and then shockingly retired to play baseball. And so we got the Jordan 8 and 9 in the same year. The 8 was the most aggressive design yet. Inspired by the times, it was rugged, it was loud, graffiti patterns, bold cross straps, a chenille tongue patch, the Bugs Bunny, the playoffs, the aqua. The Jordan 8 was cemented with that third NBA championship. Jordan averaged 41 points a game in those finals, still a record by the way, and then decided to step away from the NBA to play baseball. So Tinker rolled out the Air Jordan 9, a baseball cleat-like design. It was bulkier than past models. It had a different look and feel, but more importantly, MJ wasn't playing basketball in them. Baseball, yes. As a bronze statue, also yes. But things did feel different. Now, there were some international details on the outsole, multilingual, a nod to MJ's global impact, but something was missing in the basketball atmosphere, and that something was, of course, Michael Jordan. And that takes us to 1994, the first full year Jordan had not been in a basketball uniform. Missing in action. Things did keep moving though. Simba couldn't wait to be king. Andy Dufresne somehow escaped from Shawshank prison. Forrest Gump gave us life advice from a park bench. Nas gave us life advice from Queensbridge with Illmatic. OJ fired up the Bronco. Amazon became a thing. And Tinker was working on a thing too, the Air Jordan 10. Which was really a tribute to Michael Jordan, his accolades, milestones, and accomplishments. Tinker actually inscribed them into the outsole of the sneaker. There was also a full-length Air unit for the first time, but beyond that, the 10 was much more minimal, a simpler design than we'd seen. Adjusting to life with Air Jordans, but without Air Jordan was tough. Could this really be the end? Well, we know it wasn't. 1995 rolled up on us quick. Woody and Buzz Lightyear formed an alliance. Craig got fired on his day off. Coolio rapped Gangster's Paradise. Tupac serenaded the world with Dear Mama. This thing called the internet was becoming mainstream. eBay was founded, and Michael Jordan, he refound his love for the game. MJ officially returned to the court on March 18, 1995. But here's the thing, the NBA season was already well underway, and this is where the timeline gets a little harder to follow. See, during this stretch in MJ's career, Jordan sneakers often dropped near the end of the calendar year, but he'd mostly wear them the following year. Case in point, the Jordan 10 dropped in 94, but we saw them on his feet in 95. He did also break out the 11s a little bit early, even though he kinda wasn't supposed to. Regardless, the pattern wasn't perfect every year, but this became the cadence. New Jordan model releases late one year, Mike predominantly rocks them in the next. Just prefacing that for the next few pairs here, and so we'll pick it up in 1996. Space Jam hit the big screen, Fugees ran up the score, Bone Thugs harmonized The Crossroads, Scream combined humor and horror, Jay-Z penned Reasonable Doubt, and Tinker and Mike proved there was zero doubt when it came to their greatness. Together they brought us what might be the best sneaker of all time. It's MJ's favorite sneaker as well, which is probably why he laced them up earlier than he was supposed to, the beloved Air Jordan 11. There was simply nothing like it. Tinker introduced carbon fiber, said to be 5 times stronger than steel and twice as stiff. Would Jordan be even quicker? Could he jump even higher? The translucent outsole, supposedly Tinker was inspired by lawnmowers and sports cars, the power and explosion that both machines concealed. It's also said that Jordan himself wanted a sneaker that had a dressier look, and Tinker obliged with the famous patent leather feature. It was like a tuxedo for your feet. This was the creme de la creme, the Concorde, the playoffs, more commonly known as the Breads, the Columbia, the Space Jams. This was the beginning of camping out for sneakers and mall hysteria. Michael Jordan led the Bulls to a record-breaking 72 wins, and more importantly, won his 4th NBA championship and first since coming out of retirement. Well, what would come next? 1997. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck went from unknown Bostonians to Oscar winners. DiCaprio fell in love on the Titanic. Netflix was created. Stone Cold hit Vince McMahon with the stunner. Tragically, we lost Biggie and Princess Diana, rest in peace. Steve Jobs returned to Apple, and Mike returned to dominance in the Air Jordan 12. The inspiration behind the sneaker, Tinker combined the Japanese rising sun flag and women's shoes, believe it or not. Plush leather with stitching that resembled that rising sun, and an overall shape and lines that mimicked high heels. Faux lizard skin, the first Jordan to feature Zoom Air, Nike's newest cushioning technology at the time. It was also the first Jordan sneaker to release under Jordan brand. It was now officially its own thing. It was also a sneaker that had real duality, athletic enough for Michael Jordan to pull off the flu game, and rugged enough for the streets. The cherries, the taxis, the playoffs, and guess what? A 5th championship in the books for number 23. To this day, the Jordan 12 is one of the real unsung heroes of the Jordan line. And the party did not stop in 1998. Juvenile changed dance floors forever with Back That Up. DMX dropped 2 #1 albums. France defeated Brazil in the World Cup. Monica Lewinsky went from intern to infamous, and everyone, and I mean everyone, had an AOL screen name. Even Tinker probably. You want to know what else he had? The Air Jordan 13. The result? Another classic. Inspired by Michael Jordan's Black Cat nickname and predatory style on court, Tinker harnessed that Panther energy and created the 13. The outsole mimics a paw, the hologram on the side, reminiscent of a cat's eye. The tufts resemble whiskers. Again, carbon fiber and Zoom Air were implemented. Denzel rocked him and he got game. And Jordan rocked them all season, averaged 29, 6, and 4 at 35 years old. Another league MVP, another all-defensive first-team selection, and of course, the Bulls were back in the finals. Now in games 1, 2, and 5, he was wearing the 13s, but he'd actually debut the Air Jordan 14 for games 3, 4, and ultimately 6, where he hit the legendary mic drop last shot on Brian Russell that felt like a movie script en route to his 6th NBA championship. 6th Finals MVP, 2nd three-peat, and if anyone on earth was still questioning who the GOAT was, they weren't anymore. And then he retired. Again, just like that, he was gone. It was the last dance. And so 1999 was upon us. Morpheus and Neo ran the fade. There was that little kid who could see dead people. Tiger Woods was in full swing. BlackBerry phones hit the scene hard. Tony Soprano broke out the bathrobe. There was an NBA lockout, which somehow feels poetic in hindsight. MJ felt really far away on the one hand, and yet still very close at the same time. The Air Jordan 14 was in full rotation. NBA players were still lacing them up, inspired by the Ferrari 550, the Shield logo on the ankle, the racing bar across the top of the tongue, the ventilation setup. It was such a sleek silhouette and one that marked the end of a dynasty and Jordan's time as a Chicago Bull. The world kept spinning though, and here we were. 2000. We officially survived Y2K. Tom Hanks survived too for 4 years on a deserted island. The Gladiator finally got his revenge.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Outkast apologized to Miss Jackson. Boy Meets World ended. MTV Cribs started. And Tinker just kept going with the Air Jordan 15. Technically released in December of '99, but 2000 is when they really got laced up. Inspired by the X-15 fighter jet that broke speed and altitude records, it featured Zoom Air, woven Kevlar uppers, a hidden speed lacing system, and the polarizing tongue, which was actually inspired by Jordan himself. The mid-air tongue out signature finishes we had seen so many times from him in years past. It was a super bold design, which is what we'd come to expect from Tinker, but without Mike flying in them, the world was still a little bit jet lagged. And then 2001 rolled around. Denzel showed us a different type of office.
You in the office, baby.
The Fast and the Furious hit the gas. Iverson stepped over Ty Lue, disrespectful. Barry Bonds crushed 73 home runs, also disrespectful.
He hits it deep.
The iPod was born, and so was the Air Jordan 16. Only now Tinker Hatfield stepped away from the franchise for the first time in 15 years. Wilson Smith III grabbed the reins, and his design took on more of an executive aesthetic, a blend between hoops and suits. The patent leather toe, almost a full-length air unit, the magnetic shroud. It was a really modern or even futuristic look, but without Jordan, you know how it goes. And then just like that, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and he's back again. October 30th, 2001, 19 points and 6 assists against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. But he was already in next year's pair. This was the start of the 01-02 season, which we know means we're very quickly into 2002. Eminem got a movie role as Eminem, basically. Cameron stunted on us with the all-pink mink ensemble. The Wire took us on a journey through the gritty streets of Baltimore. Mixtapes lined CD binders across America, and Wilson Smith III had something for America too, the Air Jordan 17. inspired by several elements: jazz music, Aston Martins, golf courses. It was quite the sneaker, and the packaging was next level as well. A metal briefcase, an original CD, and a $200 price tag. Luxury performance. Super dope. Even Kobe Bryant was rocking them. And that brings us to 2003. Tarantino brought us Kung Fu and Bloodspray. Finding Nemo touched our hearts. 50 Cent dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. Jay-Z rapped about 99 Problems. A high school kid from Akron, Ohio was the first pick in the NBA draft.
James.
And Tate Kubris was NBA ready too. He designed the Air Jordan 18. Inspired by Italian dress shoes with racing details, the sneaker resembled Formula One driving boots and were definitely built for speed. Carbon fiber insoles, layers of Zoom Air. The shoe even came with a suede brush and a driver's manual. But as awesome as the sneaker was, it was bittersweet. This was Michael Jordan's swan song. April 16th, 2003, the greatest to ever do it. Laced up those white and blue 18s for the very last time. Almost 2 decades of dominance. He redefined what it meant to be the GOAT. And yes, it was about what he did on the court. Of course, his greatness was the foundation for everything else, but it was also everything else. From catchy theme songs and Gatorade commercials, to defeating the Monstars, even dunking on Michael Jackson. All of it. The truth is, Jordan built something bigger than being a legend. He built a legacy. And maybe it's taken until now to truly appreciate it. Mike's been gone from the game for over 2 decades, and yet the sneakers live on. That Jumpman logo you see, it's recognized all over the world. MJ took flight 40 years ago, and he hasn't come down yet. I guess he really could fly. Peace.